Alright, welcome back. We are here for round 2 of 4 in this Riftlab Clash. I am joined here again with Sylvan, and we have a really exciting round. Sylvan, how you doing so far?
Dude, I could not be doing better, for real. This first round was so exciting, we got 3 games, and right now we are going to probably even more exciting matchup, so I'm so happy with that. Guys, we are going to see Leona versus Kai'Sa. Of course, Kai'Sa again, whatever, but Leona. And the deck is from the creator of the deck. We know that this deck is specially created to counter the meta.
Yeah, and this is going to be really exciting. And man, I gotta say, I love these clashes because we've seen very diverse meta here. And look at this Leona deck. I mean, we are seeing some really fun things. Shen here, Set, Sona to go ahead and get runes readied up at the end of turn when you're having her in a battlefield. All of this, Hourglass to go ahead and give some insurance to your units in the battlefield. I mean, there is a lot to have here, and I'm excited to see, can this deck actually manage to make a comeback? Now, with SouledOut, of course, he was able to win the first round, so I'm thinking so. But let's see what we have on the other side as well with the Kai'Sa.
And what does Kai'Sa need to have to work against deck that makes his units unkillable? I guess Riptide Rex sounds nice, because you get body and removal at the same time. We have only one copy of this one, but it should be pretty good. But then, the thing that's for me very unexpected, we have Kai'Sa with no Icatian Reigns in main deck. Emo?
Yeah, and that's
huge.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Riptide Rex, just like you said, only one there. We do have a very wide side deck here in this case. Almost one of every single card of the 8 cards except for Icathian Reign. So in this side deck, will you go ahead and side that in this case? Well, we'll see. But the biggest thing about using maybe going against Leona in this case, you might not know what to expect here, and so Kai'Sa might be already trying to get a little bit ahead in figuring out what they're even going against. So let's go ahead and take a look at the board states here and what we can potentially expect as the starting battlefields.
And before we will talk about what will happen in the game, you asked me how I am doing. What about you, man? How do you feel today?
Oh man, I am absolutely pumped. It is so great to be able to see these gameplays and even just being able to be competitive before a game even is coming out. So excited to be a caster here. So excited to have a great team behind us as well. Could not do it without everything that this team has put in for this.
Also, this is the thing that I love about tournaments without cash prize, without high stakes, because I feel like when you have a high stake tournament, you will see a lot of meta choices, just safe choices, a lot of safe choices. And when you have like Riftlab tournaments are basically like testing battlefield. You really can go full on testing new things and trying figure out, especially because let's be honest, right now a competitive scene of Riftbound, if we can even call it like that, is pretty small. You have seasoned players, of course, that were playing other card games in the past for sure, and you know that even if you play the non-profit tournaments, let's say, you will play against players, especially in like third or fourth round, that know what they are doing, that have a good feeling for card games. So it's even worth it to play these tournaments just for the fact that you can practice against good players from around the world.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been one of the coolest things about these clashes is that, you know, day one, yesterday, for example, we saw Lee Sin. We've seen Teemo today and yesterday as well. Now we get a chance to go ahead and see what Leona can do as well. And so it's like, wait, I thought the meta was pretty much set, Set, Master Yi, and Kai'Sa in this case. But wait, we're now seeing these guys. And not only that, they're winning. So, I mean, I'm really thrilled to see what all of this is going to be able to do, especially as we continue to go into this game one. Who's going to win this one? I don't even want to necessarily, SouledOut versus Kedijus in this case is going to be really interesting to be able to see here.
And by the way, what about SouledOut? Because you said that right now he is like, if we can say that anyone is a top player right now, this title would probably be a fit for SouledOut, right? He's playing a lot of tournaments. And by the way, why do we have any?
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting choice here because it looks like it might be actually an Annie here instead. And so kind of curious about what might be happening here. We'll
It's
get
even
some
better.
clarification here.
To be fair, it's even better. Let's go. Okay, let's have Annie. Let's have Annie on stream. No problem, no problem. Apparently, there was a prank played on us. I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, so Annie's going to be a really interesting one as well because she has a really solid legend ability. At the end of your turn, you ready 2 runes. And again, like the Kaisa, she does a really good job at being able to utilize a lot of spells, especially having even the same spells that Kaisa has in this case as well. So a lot of things to keep and anticipate here. And then even like the Annie champion as well can add 1 additional damage. Or if you go ahead and play the other Annie in the champion zone, you can return a spell from your trash to your hand. So a lot of utility in this deck.
Let's see. It's so fun because Dave Gaskin, of course, Dave Gaskin. Dave himself said that in Proving Grounds you won't have. The cards will be toned down just to not be meta-defining. So they will be cards that you can learn the game on. But the fact that from a time perspective, we have Mastery in Proving Grounds, which is pretty solid legend, at least, to not say cracked. Because he's simple, but he's so strong. Then we have champion like Annie that has potential. I think Lux has potential as well. Like, if you guys think what to get on the start of your Riftbound journey, get Proving Grounds, for sure.
Yeah, and that's going to be the coolest thing. They have 4 structured decks that you'll be able to take a look at, and we'll see how it's going to be able to go. I mean, especially just with Master Yi, Annie, and a lot of other great options there as well. So I'm curious to see how this is going to be going. Now, both these players might still be working on getting some clarification going on what might be happening. So in the meantime, we will continue to discuss some things with you here, but I'm going to be curious to see what's going to be happening here. Annie has a lot of utility, so a lot of like what you might have seen in the Teemo deck with, the fight or flight, for example, might be a really big factor here as well with Annie. But then not only that, you have the removal of Kaisa, just like we said. So this could be really fun.
But one important thing about Annie that makes her so different from Kaisa is that having access to blue color makes you be able to deal with wider variance of units, just because you can reduce might. It's huge deal. So Annie technically shouldn't be as good in removal in the same way as Kaisa. It always will be kind of different. But right now, as we see, well, she is playing Kaisas, she is playing Darius, so yeah. In these terms, it looks very much like Kaisa hand.
Yeah, who is playing Kaisa here? But with that being said, this is going to be really great because you also can see how powerful the Accelerate will be able to be a factor here. Now, with that being said, we do have Candlelit Sanctum as our battlefield as well as Reaver's Row. Now, with Candlelit Sanctum, it says specifically when you conquer here, look at the top 2 cards of your main deck, and you may recycle one or both of them and put those back in any order. So already right there, that's going to be pretty good. And you're looking here as the turn 1 for SouledOut, going ahead and going to be playing a unit that can go ahead and be played in an unoccupied battlefield. So 2 might going to be down from the get-go and 1 early point to maybe even start to shift the momentum over into SouledOut's favor.
To be fair, it really feels like a strong unit because you don't need to pay an accelerate cost. But the weakness is in might. There's a problem. Yeah. Because this unit has only 2 might, right? Only 2 might right now, but still having the mother coming in, or Sprite Mother, is going to be a big difference. Now, also, we just saw Fight or Flight come in on top of that, which is going to be after the battle is declared in this case. Then you can just go ahead and move over to the other battlefield and conquer that as well. And so that's going to be really interesting to be able to see a fight another day and, might even be able to score a couple more points on the upkeep as well. It's so insane. It's so smooth in the early turns. Late game, I guess it would be harder to pull off something like this. But I guess it's not the only usage of this card. I can see it play with Darius, for example, especially if you are able to play a second card, because it's really important to remember Darius' ability does not work only in your turns. It will also buff your Darius in enemy turn if you play 2 cards. But, well, you need to be able to play 2 cards in opponent turn.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily going to be something that activates a lot, but when it does, it can be really scary. And so even if you happen to have like 2 removals on the Kai'Sa side, and you activate that on your turn, you're going to be dealing, one, a lot of damage, but then also have a pumped up Darius that could go ahead and take a lot here. Here comes the Kai'Sa accelerated in this case. That's going to be adding 1 additional card as well to the deck. Now, it looks like you're going to be picking which order that is going to be done with. So they're going to be searching the deck with the battlefield effect here, and then drawing the 1 card off of the Kai'Sa ability. And so just a lot of utilization. Let's look at what maybe I'm going to be getting cool. I want this card. Kai'Sa gets it right there for you.
So nice. So nice. Oh my god. The coexistence. When 1 card works well with another card, how is it called in English?
Interaction.
Interaction, but like symbiotic.
Oh, now I'm the one struggling with that. Synergy.
It's so fun.
Synergy.
Synergy, yes. Thank you very much. The synergy is so nice, and that's another thing I love. That on Conquer abilities, they work as you want them to work. You can stack them in any way you want, because you are the turn player. So it's so flexible, it's so nice. It's very intuitive in a way, I think, because technically you need to stack the ability correctly in chain, but in practical way, it doesn't matter. You just say which resolves first. But right now, Kai'Sa is removed with Falling Star, and again, we are playing back and forth right now. Like Kai'Sa and Annie, they seem doing very good in both ways. But right now, 2 units on the Kai'Sa side, but we know that Annie has 1 Falling Star on hand.
Yep, and that's going to be the big factor here. What are you going to be able to do to go ahead and get back in this game? The last thing you want, of course, is going to be having your opponent gain 2 points to go to 6 in this case. That's going to be putting you pretty far behind. But again, we do have the spell removal, but at the same time, you're still seeing 4 untapped runes on Kedijus' side here, and so that's going to be really interesting to see what does Kai'Sa have as an answer. And here we go again with another Kai'Sa coming out. We've seen so many of them in the opening hand, and so we'll see what this is going to be able to do in this case. Do you choose to activate some of your removal with the 5 cards you have in your hand as the Kai'Sa player?
And the problem is, if he has any that's the point. Like, there were so many ways in which Kai'Sa could have deal with any Kai'Sa, and right, like, look what happened. One turn when Annie did not have perfect play against that, and you are 3-6. Kai'Sa has priority right now in every way that you could even try to describe. So that looks tough. That looks tough.
Well, and you can also even play a little bit responsively now, going ahead and building up units in your base, maybe anticipating, what might be coming next. But it's like, both battlefields are under control. Your opponent might not now have an accelerate 2 Kai'Sas that have already been played in this case. It's like, will they have a third? Probably not. So I think I'm pretty good in this case. And they're playing out a Kai'Sa now. And so we'll see how this is going to go. And I'm just going to be very interested to see now pulling back the Sprite Mother back to base just in case they do have another accelerate, and maybe trying to go ahead and ensure that they do have things going. And here's the Darius.
But the problem is, again, okay, the second card, okay, that's fine. I just want to remember that Yordle will just go back to base. I guess that, I guess that you want to get anything from this Conquer, but still, if Kai'Sa will be able to remove Darius, it's GG. And I really can't expect that Kai'Sa does not have any answer to Darius in her own turn. Oh, hidden.
Oh, a hidden card too. That's going to be a little bit interesting though, because that can make a pretty big difference. Likewise, though, if we do see Enchant's a Thousand Tail Watcher here, we've seen how big of an impact it's made these past 2 days of competition. They just need to go ahead and take things, and there is the Thousand Tailed Watcher in hand for Kaisa. Now, of course, we still do have maybe a fight or flight that we can go ahead and defend with on the Annie side, but even still, that is going to need to be activated. And I mean, we can go ahead and looks like we're going to be playing the Falling Star to go ahead and deal 6.
Okay, Annie sounded exciting in theory, in practice. This can be a game that will participate in Stomp reward of today. Like, that was a fast first game.
That was a very fast first game, and that was the hard part. It's like, as soon as Kaisa was able to get a little bit of a grounding on the field, it's like, cool, now that I do, if they have any responses, I have the removal that I need in hand. And in this case, we didn't necessarily see a whole lot coming from Annie. With a lot of it sometimes is, let me go ahead and once I take the battlefield, I'm going to be bouncing your stuff back with fight or flight or other options here to go ahead and get things taken care of. And so here's a deck list that we have here in this case. And so it'll be interesting to see how this ends up going with everything that is out here as well. We do have some good bounce back with Rebuke as well, and that might be something that you go ahead and side into. Now, Tide Turner is going to be a really great hidden card as well for the Annie deck, because it just allows you to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to flip-flop here with a user in hand and see what ends up happening.
I'm scared. I'm very sad about one thing, and I really hope I am not right. I really feel like Annie playing against Kaisa, her problem is she wants to play against, she wants to play kind of the same way Kaisa is playing, but in this matter Kaisa is just better. She just plays out better, and I'm really scared that Annie can, maybe I can be wrong. I can be wrong. Like, Annie right now is pretty exotic pick to play.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, Vi is very good card against Kaisa. Just because you can buffer. Annie does not, she's not sad about the fact that you will recycle your cards from trash. She's not a Teemo deck. She does not play any Mundo, so it's okay. And also the fact that Vi is free, that also can save her from, let's say, one more tick of Ikatian Rain. But the problem is, your opponent does not even play Ikatian Rains. So, yeah,
so
that sucks.
It'll be really interesting to see how this game 2 is going to be going. I mean, right now we need to go ahead and see what SouledOut can do to get this win under his belt. And if Annie can finally do what Annie needs to do. Now, with that being said, we do have Arena's Greatest out onto the battlefield, which is going to mean that at the start of each player's beginning phase, they gain 1 point. And so we'll see what ends up happening. We did end up missing the first turn on accident there. Sorry about that, guys. But don't worry, we still have a lot of gameplay coming your way. But this is a big game right now for SouledOut as playing Annie.
Let's see right now. The Arena's Greatest for sure, but the problem is faster games kind of sound like good for Kaisa. I really wonder second point for her, and 5 up. Yes, we are playing Kaisa, the classic, my friends, the classic. You go for, you go to McDonald's, you just order cheeseburger. For Kaisa, it's that. It's definitely that.
No, exactly. And we're taking a look at both hands right now as Kaisa's moving into the bottom battlefield. This is really interesting to be able to see the fight or flights and the flashes and things of that nature. Is that going to be enough? And as the Stupefy comes out, maybe that's a card draw in hand as well. That's why Kaisa didn't come out accelerated in that point. Wanted that answer for when, you know, Kaisa moves into the battlefield. Student goes ahead and gets buffed when a spell is played, and now it is 3-3.
It's such a great... Oh, I love it. It's very simple play. You don't lose any card advantage. I mean, you don't lose any cards from your hands, but you force your opponent to answer in some way. So very nice, very nice, easy play from Kedijus. Yeah, for sure. But right now we see a swap from SouledOut. Kaisa goes back to base because of the Tide Turner.
And Ty Turner's going to be just such a great card to be able to have in this. Now, one, it can come out hidden as well, but not only that, but when you play me, you may choose a friendly unit and move me to its location and it to my original location. So you just, yep, exactly like you said, a good flip-flop, and then, of course, reinforcing the battlefield at hand to make sure that you can hold it and try to at least get more points, because especially with the battlefield out, getting one more point, a lot can happen. And right there, we are seeing Falling Star taking out the Kai'Sa back in base.
And you see, that's what I was talking about. The problem, like, for Kai'Sa playing Falling Star, it's so easy. It's so broken. For 2, you can hit for 6 in total, and you can even split it, and you lose only 1 rune from your tempo. Normally, it would be for Annie. For Annie, it's 2. So, like, Annie probably can't even play Falling Stars in her decklist. It would be too detrimental for her tempo.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, recycling your runes can be one of the fastest ways to have you lose momentum. But I mean, right there, we're seeing Annie's deck be able to do what Annie needs to do with Flash at least. Yes, I am giving you the point for taking the battlefield, but both of my units are now alive and able to fight another day. That can be very scary against Darius, but in this case, I can go ahead and maybe try to now take Void Gate and see what I can do to get back in this game. Right now, Kai'Sa is tapped out with runes, not able to utilize any responses in this case, and so it is SouledOut's turn to maybe try to make that big push needed to get back these battlefields and maybe even tie it up 4-4.
Should be easy. Let's see hands. Let's see, especially Annie's hand. Right now, what are the answers? I mean, Darius and Gast, kind of hot, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a great way to go ahead and even maybe get rid of the student in this case back to hand, and then easily take the battlefields with both Darius and... I mean, Darius can go into Darius with ease at this point, and then the other battlefield can just easily be taken, and it's 4-4 just like that.
That's very nice turn for Annie. I really wonder, there is only 1 copy of Annie in the deck, and I guess it's one of those things that you just played 1 copy because you need to play 1 copy. Because, and she will probably sit there until the moment that Annie does not have anything else to play. Just for the information, champion unit Annie says that when you play me, return a spell from your trash to your hand. It can't be helpful, for sure, but it's very situational, because you need to pay 4 and then be able to play the spell that you are drawing from your trash. So you need, it's probably more of a late game card.
Yeah, and so that's going to be the biggest thing right now, and it's like really the biggest removal that you have as the Annie player in the deck list that we have is going to be the Void Seeker, and they're only running 2 of that necessarily, and so yeah, you're exactly right about that. Being able to even try to get a card back, that is going to be a total of, 7 that needs to be paid for in this case, and that's going to be recycling 2 as well to deal 4 damage, but at least having Annie out on the field with 3 might. So a lot of things to consider here. It's 4-5. SouledOut is now down by 1, and it can very well be anyone's game, but here's the difference. SouledOut only has 1 card in hand compared to Kai'Sa's 6. And just like you said, card draw is king here. Whoever has the bigger hand size might be able to get the advantage and ultimately take the game.
And the problem is, it's Vi. Very slow card. Good if you can set her up, but unfortunately, it's not helpful right now. And by the way, guys, let's repeat something. Let's repeat the play. We saw Darius against Darius last time. Now it's again a mirror matchup on top lane. Unfortunately, enemy Darius went to base. He bought a Trinity Force, came back to lane, and yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard to deal with him. So eye for an eye, and then again an eye.
You get a Darius. Everyone's just getting Darius all around. And, I mean, you can also see just the impact that he can have, especially if you're able to get those answers. 7 might can be so difficult to try to respond to, especially when you might not have the answers at hand, which in this case, SouledOut can't necessarily do any of the damage that he needs. And here comes the Annie to go ahead and get the card back. He's going to be checking his discard to find maybe what he has, and a fight or flight is going to be drawn back into hand. And so that'll at least maybe try to get a point in, and here comes Vi.
Not Ride the Wind? Wasn't it Ride the Wind?
It might have been, yeah. I'm sure. Oh, I think it was Ride the Wind. I think you're right about that. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Good catch on that.
Here we have it. And, okay, excuse-moi, Mr. SouledOut. I said that Vi is slow. By herself, maybe. But with Ride the Wind, you see, she's a big, beefy unit that actually can win out in Battlefield. And this game, it's pretty close. It played out much better than the first game for SouledOut.
Yeah, exactly. And this is going to be a tricky situation now. Of course, Annie's ability is going to be very crucial here because, like we said, you can ready 2 runes at the end of your turn. So now going back, he has 3 to be able to use. And even though he only has 1 card in hand, it might very well be something that could be that removal that Kai'Sa might need to worry about. But in this case, just going accelerating, Vi is not able to activate the ability on her turn, so it is only a 3 might in this case. That is going to be a +1 card draw and the Conquer to be at 7. If there is any removal, this game is over.
Let's just hope for the best. Okay, like there literally is. Literally the perfect removal for Kai'Sa player. Here goes the Void Seeker. AP Kai'Sa shoots with Void Seeker and tries to take the field, but then Gust comes in clutch, giving the last potential moment for SouledOut to somehow still be in this game. And let's...
I mean, still...
Not
what you want to necessarily see. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find that answer. You see SouledOut's reaction right there. Annie was unable to necessarily get ahead of Kai'Sa in this case. Very unfortunate, but, you know, able to go 7-7 in this game, but the card draw just wasn't necessarily there. They're still going to, of course, be playing this out, maybe trying to find an avenue that they might not be able to, and we'll see what happens here. But Darius is still going to be played to base, but that is going to be it. SouledOut, unfortunately, got taken out and have Kedijus win 2-0 playing Kai'Sa.
Well, that was definitely a fast game. Like, wait, when did we start? Like 20 minutes ago? Maybe 30.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And, I mean, you just got to see exactly. Annie, unfortunately, needs to be able to do what Annie needs to do, and there was a little bit of missing on those card draws that you're kind of ending up falling a little bit short, and Kai'Sa just had the draw needed to have the answers and take care of this game. And so, I mean, man... Great job there from the Kai'Sa player.
I feel like that's also one of the problems of this deck. Like, looking at the list, Annie does not have... And, okay, you have card draw with Kai'Sa, you have card draw with Void Seeker. The problem is that Kai'Sas that we will be playing against just have more card draw because they also have Stupefy. That's also a very useful spell. They may have a Sentry. So, I uphold what I said after the first game. Annie in the matchup against Kai'Sa just does the same things as Kai'Sa, but worse. Right now, at least.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the sad part too, because Annie has such a great legend ability, being able to ready up 2 runes. I mean, you only see a battlefield that's really able to do that kind of ability, but Annie's able to do it every single turn. And so it's like, well, maybe in the next set or 2, Annie can get the reinforcements it needs to be able to become that tier 1 deck. But right now, you're almost just kind of hoping that I'm able to find the cards that I need to even just catch up to the meta. And in this case, Kai'Sa was just like, well, I have the answers, I have the card draw, and so we'll see what ends up happening here. But guys, we have some more gameplay coming your way. This might be a little bit longer of a break just with how fast this game ended up going, but we are going to be back with 2 more rounds. Sylvan and I are not going anywhere, and we are excited to see what's coming next.